So
We're live, but not ready.
yeah, you're not ready. I'm ready. Another Wi-Fi podcast. All right, so uh, this week we're gonna talk about Tesla because I have to get one. I have to help fight climate change. So I'm gonna go pick one of those babies up.
You got the more cost effective one, right? The
Yeah,
more
not the Plaid. I got the Model 3 Performance. So
not the plaid.
it only does 60 in 3.1 seconds. So
Oh,
it's not like crazy. It's just to help the environment.
you're gonna be racing everyone.
Yeah, we'll see. We'll see if it's faster than the C8. Be some fun videos doing that.
Yeah.
But talking about Tesla, we had another customer call this week or send an email, and he was talking about he's been using Starlink. Starlink's it's like a satellite-based internet service, and there's been a lot of hype around it, but I didn't really hear anyone using it, or good or bad, or anything like that. Did you hear anything about it?
No, I didn't actually. When you told me about it, I didn't link it to Tesla. So yeah, no, I haven't really heard anything about it. But you should talk about why did he email you in the first place? Just to,
Well, because he was buying some of the cloud equipment, and he I guess he's been using the Ingenious cloud equipment along with Starlink at some remote locations. So he's using the Starlink for the internet connection in areas that are super rural. It sounds like cabins and mountains and things like that. And he was saying that it's like 75 miles away from the DSL station, so he was having really bad DSL coverage there. I can imagine.
really bad.
Yeah, DSL is bad anyway. If you can't get cable and you have to go with DSL, I mean, it's never great anyway, even if you're right next to the CO.
Yeah.
I mean, it's better than dial-up, I guess. But
DSL's not that. I used to work for a DSL company.
I know. I used to use it too. And it was way better than dial-up in the day. But now, no way, you get gigabit cable modem service and fiber now, right? So DSL is not the best, but it sounds like Starlink's working really well for him on multiple locations. And the good thing is, he said he's using the Ingenious Cloud app to monitor the switches and access points, and he can tell that they've never gone down, they've never lost connectivity. So that's really good. It's good that the Ingenious Cloud still works with the satellite service. The latency must be low enough that it's able to update and all that. Doesn't time out. Yeah. So that's pretty good. So if anyone has an area that you just can't get good internet service, check out Starlink if it's available. It's usually out in the country. Sometimes by the shore. There's no good cell service or internet service for a reason. Beach communities, mountains, things like that. We're on the coast, so we're spoiled with we've had cable modems for decades, right?
Forever, yeah.
Forever, and you just think that everyone has that, but a lot of places in the country still don't have solid internet.
So yeah, I'm just looking at that email you were talking about, and he was saying that at one point, I guess he was getting 1 megabit down and 200 kilobits up.
Yeah.
Now he's getting 100 megabit down and 20 megabits up.
Yeah.
So that's huge.
That's huge. Yeah, when you have nothing, that's great. I mean that's really all you need. Now, I'm still any kind of satellite service. I'm still would worry about latency and things like that. I mean, it can't be great for gaming. I know that they're low Earth orbit satellites, so that the latency is supposed to be better. The older ones were higher up, geosynchronous orbit, and there was I think Dish Network had that, right?
My sister had Dish or DirecTV.
Yeah, DirecTV.
And the latency is
huge, right?
400 milliseconds or 500 milliseconds. It was really crazy. Yeah.
Yeah, so you couldn't do a Skype call or do any kind of gaming on that. But I think Starlink, the idea is he's putting up tons of these little satellites in low Earth orbit, and just to reduce the latency. I think they're having some problems with scaling and chip shortages for the CPE devices and things like that. But I'm sure they'll work through that. But no, that's really interesting to hear. So, another way to get good internet, but you're still going to need Wi-Fi. So, look at the Ingenious Cloud Wi-Fi system on top of that.
So backhaul in with Starlink and then Ingenious APs and switch.
Sounds like it's working. So, all right. So, another big thing we want to talk about was the Ingenious Pro Cloud license. So, it's just rolled out where you can purchase. Yeah, you can purchase the Ingenious Pro Cloud license for your switches and APs if you want. Now, it's not a requirement. The Ingenious Cloud is always going to be free. It's just some extra features that a really big network might need, or it also has some nice to have features for troubleshooting and things like that.
The client devices.
Yeah. So what are the major pro features that you get if you buy that license?
Yeah. So I want to reiterate kind of what you just said, because we had a customer that received the email about the pro license and thought, okay, I have to pay a license for cloud to work, which is totally false. Right. That's not true whatsoever. So you will always have basic. Basic provides a ton of features that you can pretty much go into. I've seen basic go into networks with hundreds of APs, no problem. You don't necessarily need to go into pro unless you need specific features. So some of those major features are a thing that we call MyPSK, which is a personal pre-shared key, and there are particular situations that you would use that. You have VLAN pooling. VLAN pooling allows you to segment like large amounts of traffic into smaller VLANs, for example. Mm-hmm. You also have client timeline. Client timeline is one of those things that you can use for troubleshooting client devices. It basically tracks your client throughout the network, so that's another big thing. It does enhance some of the basic features. So like if you're using our voucher service, you can have basically 100 entries in for voucher service or cloud radius. With Pro, you can have basically unlimited, I would say 10,000 entries within there, so it expands on the basic features. Also with basic, you're getting 10 admins. If you go into Pro, you get unlimited admins. So there's a number of different things that you can do in there and take advantage of. I'm trying to think of other things. Can you think of anything, Jeff?
No, I think you hit on all the major ones. I mean, the MyPSK is a big one, I guess, because they're using the Ingenious Cloud Radius. Now, how many MyPSK accounts can you have on the basic? Like 100, was it?
There's no... Okay, so MyPSK, you cannot use under basic, you cannot use MyPSK.
Oh, okay, there's no MyPSK.
MyPSK is only Pro.
Got it. Okay.
But under basic, you can use voucher and you can use cloud radius. MyPSK is a different thing.
Yep.
And individual VLANs. So if you want your users to be on separate VLANs, that would be another reason you would use like Pro, for example.
Got it.
So you can use MyPSK with dynamic VLANs.
Right.
So that's a major feature that customers use.
Yeah.
And then there's things like topology view. You can see like third-party devices. We do have like a Wi-Fi planner built in, where you can actually upload floor plans and then add obstacles. And you can actually see radio propagation on the floor plan. Mm-hmm. And it's really accurate if you put in the information correctly. If you don't, then it's only as good as the information you input it into it. And there's more features that will be coming out, but yeah, there's some of the few, I guess.
But yeah, so basically though, you don't need to buy any license for any of the Ingenious Cloud devices. They'll always be free. And the features we talked about are for large networks like schools, maybe hotels, things like that, larger hotels.
Like a student housing situation, multifamily units, shared office space kind of configurations. Yeah. Like larger enterprise type deployments.
And there's always ways to do it. Like if you didn't want to buy the license whatsoever, you could still, use other ways to do it. Like you can use 802.1x with your own radius server or something like that, if you wanted to host your own radius, but it's not worth it. It's better, I would say, to use the cloud radius.
Yeah, it's just easier. You don't have to go out and get a cloud. You can get the free radius, I guess.
Yeah, you could do it.
Like you're getting free, but if you wanted something, yeah, you always have that option. With,
You have to maintain it though.
stuff.
All right, so and then another one of the things we want to talk about is DFS channel avoidance. So like I had one customer say this week they saw a message that radar was detected and the AP had to change channels. So when you see that, it's not. It looks like a concerning message, right? Like a scary message, but it's not. That it's working the way it should. You know, the FCC allows you to utilize those DFS channels, but with the stipulation that if a government agency is using that one of those channels, you have to change off of it immediately.
Yeah, you're basically, so if you're on the DFS channels and there's radar nearby and it's detected by the access point will disconnect the client devices that are on that channel.
Okay.
And that's normal. That's a normal process. So, you know, with our newer access point that launched and coming out by the end of this month, which is the ECW 230S and the ECW 220S, it has a scanning radio, an extra scanning radio, and it will continuously scan the DFS channels. It's called zero weight DFS. It will continuously scan the DFS channel. So if your primary radio that's serving the client detects radar on that channel, it kicks the clients off, but it has other choices, other DFS channels that are open, and will flip to that channel really quickly. So it's pretty seamless with the client device. Without the scanning radio, the client device is going to be kicked off. It then has to scan for DFS channels and then allow the device to connect back. So there's a waiting period, you know, if you don't have a scanning radio. So the 230S, the 220S will have that scanning radio. So you'll have that option of zero weight DFS.
Okay, gotcha. But even if you, so that's an advantage of having the S version. So if you have like let's say a mission critical network, it's a good idea to use the S version, or at least a couple of them in there, so that they can. I wonder if it can coordinate back with the other APs. I mean, they will obviously, but probably not. You know, only that one AP is going to do the zero weight.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, because it's going to be based around location of the access point. So you know, I was working with a large school, and there was particular areas that were close to a police station, I guess. And they were picking it up, but the other radios weren't necessarily picking it up.
Got it. Yeah, I think in this situation it may have been an airplane that flew over or something, because it didn't seem like there was anything nearby. But if you see that message, it's not real. The AP will the client will disconnect from the AP, but then the AP is gonna find another channel. It's gonna search for another channel. It may not have to be DFS. It could go back to one of the Uni 1, Uni 3 channel, something like that. And so it's not. If you do see that message, it's normal. The client may disconnect for a second and then reconnect to another AP or to another channel on that AP.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, and I mean, if you see that message, you know the AP is doing its job and it's staying within the guidelines of FCC. So, if you're close to like an airport or something like that, you may not be able to use DFS. So it just really depends.
Or think strongly about using the S version, 230X.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, I mean, so if you know for sure, and you're going to need a lot of access points, you're running a school or something like that, a hotel, it may make sense to get those S versions if you're noticing with your current system that you're getting kicked off those channels a lot and it's causing a problem.
Yeah.
All right. Anything else you want to talk about this week, Bryan?
No, I think that was it.
All right, good. That was some good info. So Starlink, check that out. Post in the comments if you're using it or if you have any other questions about Wi-Fi, and like and subscribe.